I've always felt like robot mowers weren't for me, but can the new Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro actually work on a lawn like mine? In other words, as the kids say these days, is the GOAT goated? My lawn isn't perfectly green and flat. It's uneven. It has weeds that I'm trying to get rid of, and I have a playground and kids' toys. And as much as I remind my kids to put away their toys, yeah, that doesn't always happen. So year after year, I'd see these cool new robot mowers at CES and more recently IFA, and I thought they were great, but I just kept hiring someone to mow our lawn instead. But this year at CES, seeing the GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro, I realized this mower had the features to take on my yard. And that's why I'm partnering with Ecovacs on this video to see what it's actually like to use the A3000 LiDAR Pro to take care of my not so perfect lawn. In a box that's not much larger than a robot vacuum box, Ecovacs managed to fit this whole mower and dock. After unboxing, you need to set up the dock and secure it to the ground. This is where the mower will charge and remain when it's not working. So this should be near a power outlet on level ground and in an easy spot for the mower to get in and out of. But that's also the great part to me. The mower can stay right in this dock, ready to go. It doesn't need to be put inside and then taken back outside when you're ready to mow. Once you dock the mower, it'll start charging and you can assign it an access pin to prevent anyone else from just messing with it. Then use the Ecovacs Home mobile app to connect the mower to your Wi-Fi. Once the initial setup is complete, you can choose fast auto mapping, where the robot will create a map for you like a robot vacuum does. This process only needs one touch to get GOAT started and can be done in a single pass. For more control and customization, you can choose manual mapping. This is what I chose for my lawn, where you can use the app as a game controller to guide the mower around your yard, showing it the boundaries where you want it to mow. You still get all the great obstacle avoidance, you are just manually determining the outer perimeter of your yard. If you've been following the mower space for a while, you know that for years, so many robot mowers have wanted you to bury cables in your yard to guide the mower. This was just a non-starter for me and a reason I avoided the space for so long. Avoiding the need for cables and just navigating your yard is accomplished with Ecovacs HoloScope 360-degree sensor array. It's a first of its kind dual LiDAR navigation system that uses 360-degree rotating LiDAR and a 3D time of flight sensor combined with the AI-powered camera on the front of the mower to navigate your lawn with 2-centimeter precision. This sensor array lets the GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro make a detailed holographic map of your lawn in real time that helps it see the obstacles and know where it's positioned, day or night. Once you're done mapping your yard, you can let the mower start mowing. In the app, you can adjust the cutting height from 1.2 to 3.5 inches or 3 centimeters to 9 centimeters. While mowing, it also has a system called the AIVI 3D Obstacle Avoidance that helps the Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro avoid obstacles taller than 3.93 inches or 10 centimeters, like my kids' toys, the sandbox, and the playground. Watching it mow, I was impressed just how quiet the GOAT A3000 is. Unlike a conventional mower, you don't have to worry about bothering your neighbors while this is running. Just like a robot vacuum, you can divide the map into different zones. You can then set custom mowing settings for grass height and other details in each area. You can also have it just mow specific zones. For example, I recently built my kids a new playground, and while I was doing that in one part of the yard over the weekend, I had the mower run in the other side of the yard. Then when I was back at work for the week, I had the mower finish up where I was over the weekend. Another thing you can edit in the map is the boundaries where you want the mower to use the true edge trimmer. If you opt for the LiDAR Pro version of the GOAT A3000, it includes an edge trimmer attachment that pops out and works like a traditional string trimmer for cutting the edges of lawns. The goal of the edge trimmer is to take on one of those final frontiers of robot lawn care, where the blades underneath the mower can't reach. This edger didn't get every last bit of my lawn, but it means I don't really have to worry about those edges in my lawn, which is a great time saver compared to mowers that don't have an edge trimmer. I'm also impressed by how quiet the edge trimmer is. The GOAT A3000 LiDAR series is also IPX6 water resistant. This means when the wheels of my mower get caked with spring mud as it goes through our lawn, I can just hose it off. When it rains, the mower detects the rain and returns to the dock, and this defaults to 3 hours after the rain has stopped to resume mowing, but you can customize those details in settings. Another default setting is the animal protection hours, which are from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. This time range can be changed, or the feature can be turned off entirely. The idea is to prevent the mower from running into animals. At 7 p.m., the mower will return to the dock and send you a notification of what's going on. Then, when 7 a.m. comes, it will automatically resume the mowing task. This might not be what I want long term, as the grass is always wet with dew in the morning. I'm still playing with different time ranges for animal protection hours, and maybe turning off this feature, we'll see. The mower's battery life is also enough to mow my entire lawn. When I first set up the mower, it understandably didn't have a full battery. In that case, it automatically returned to the base station to recharge when the battery dropped to 15% before finishing the lawn. Back at the base station, it can use the super fast charging of Ecovacs 32-volt energetic platform. While this robot shares a lot of basic concepts with a robot vacuum, there are some important details that are different. The first is safety, of course. A mower has blades underneath it. I love that Ecovacs has a nice protection around the mower sides to prevent running into the blades. It also has a giant red stop button on the top to do exactly that. I think it's easy enough for anyone to press this if needed. Also, if you get too close to the mower, it will turn off the blades and warn you to step away.
While working, please keep a distance of 1.5 meters from go.
It's smart enough to notice most animals and small humans that might be around. And thanks to those mowing areas in the app, we just tell our kids, the mower's over here, you can play over there, and they understand that. If you haven't upgraded to a recent model of a robot vacuum, you might not realize how good robot vacuums are at using specific patterns to vacuum your rooms. They don't aimlessly wander around the room, but those patterns are much more important for mowers as the pattern of the grass cutting shows up when the job is done. The Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro is great at making these nice long diagonal patterns in my yard. There's also a setting in the app that changes the direction of these diagonal patterns week to week, which is a nice attention to detail. Just like modern robot vacuums, you can also remotely access the front-facing camera and steer the mower around. I'm definitely gonna use this the next time a bad storm comes through. When I'm away from home, I can then check my yard and places my surveillance cameras don't cover as well. Now, we're a cat family, so I'm not a great reference for how this avoids dog poop in the yard, but it handles our kids' toys no problem. This is really where the LiDAR makes a big difference. Some mowers still use RTK satellites. Beyond interference issues, RTK is great for navigating a big open yard, but it's not really designed for picking out obstacles in real time. So how does this all compare to paying someone to mow my lawn? Well, the math on the purchase price of a robot versus the cost to mow your lawn will vary a lot, and that's really just up to you to consider. But there are some real benefits of the robot option that I wasn't expecting. The first is that my robot is ready to mow at a moment's notice, whenever I want. For scheduling around the kids playing in the yard or the weather and other events, it's not great to be tied to someone else's schedule that just shows up to mow your lawn unannounced. A robot mower is also incredibly quiet. You can barely hear this thing, which means I could be on a work call on our back deck and it's not a problem that the mower is running. Now, sure, a giant riding mower is bigger and can therefore mow your lawn faster, but the quiet sound and deliberate speed of the robot, combined with the important fact that it just happens in the background without me, is a welcome trade-off in my opinion. Also, while the pace can look deliberate, it can actually mow 4,300 square feet or about 400 square meters in 1 hour. That's thanks to the dual blade disc design powered by the 32-volt mower platform. Another great benefit of a robot is that it can mow your lawn multiple times in 1 week if you want, so your lawn always looks nice and clean. So in conclusion, the Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro sits at what I would say is the cutting edge of robot mowers and what they can do these days. And as a skeptic initially, I'm pleasantly surprised at how this really takes the mowing off of my plate. And you know those kids' toys in the playground that I was worried about? Well, the AI/VI 3D optical avoidance handled them without me having to think about it. The GOAT also had no problems with my uneven ground and weeds in my lawn. In that case, I think the Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro sits at a nice place where it has the all-terrain capabilities to handle a lawn like mine, but it's also not as big and expensive as some of the massive robot lawnmowers that are meant to take on much bigger lawns. If you're interested in checking out an Ecovacs GOAT A3000 LiDAR Pro, I'll leave a link to the mower at the top of the description. Thanks again so much for watching, and thanks to Ecovacs for supporting my work here on YouTube by sponsoring this video. And see you in the next one.